Hello and welcome. I've got multiple devices here, multiple uh, headphones, and I just got back from picking my car up from the just general maintenance. But I want to make sure I'm live, so I'm just going to double check that I am live in my group. And if you can see me, hear me, all the things, please do comment and let me know. All right, I see me. Looks like we are live. So let me first introduce myself and let you know what tonight's live call is going to be about. My name is Cami, and I am a life coach for recovering perfectionists, but I'm also an intuitive life coach. So what I'm going to do tonight is an intuitive training, and I'm going to use these cards, and I'm going to give you a little process that you can do during the full moon and explain some of the weird energy things that go on during the full moon. Let me wait for a couple people to tune in because I don't like to get started because I know I know a couple of you for sure want to be here. So let me tag some people before I get started. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I know this is also streaming to YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, I always do read the comments and I always respond. So please do, if you're watching the replay or you're watching this from another location, please do let me know that you're here. All right, I'm just going to tag a few of my current clients because I know that they love getting these updates. Okay. Perfect. Okay, good. I see some of you guys are tuning in. I see 2 people are here, so let me know who you are because I can't see who you are unless you comment. For some reason, it shows everything as secret. Okay, so let's just reflect. Yay, Christina's here. Yay. So let's just take a moment to reflect on this year. Like this entire freaking year. Like the full moon is all about releasing and it's all about letting go. And I know the joke in all of the memes were like, let's be done with 2020, let it go, right? But here's the thing. 2020 was a circumstance. 2021 is going to be a circumstance. Every year is going to bring a different set of circumstances, a different set of challenges, different set of opportunities. The only consistent thing always is you. Your mindset, same thing with me, my mindset, my perspective. So that's why doing this type of yearly reflection, monthly reflection, and a commitment to what we're releasing, what we're letting go of, and then a declaration of what we're manifesting and our intentions into the new year. This is not just important in December, in the new year. This is important all the time. All the time. So if you're watching this, I want you to make this something that you come back to, that you revisit. And let me just tell you this. Yay, Lisa's here. I'm gonna crack my drink because I just got done with dinner and I'm feeling a little parched. And this is a special water that I'm using for something later. So this is my Aldi drink. So I want you to first reflect on, and this is what was coming up for me the past couple days. This is so interesting, whether you believe in the full moon energies, whether you don't, whether you follow the cycles of the moon, whether you don't, doesn't really matter. And here's why. You don't need to believe in something for it to be real or for it to exist, right? The energy of the moon pulls the tides of the oceans. So what happens is a lot of times, especially on a full moon, energies get weird, animals act different, like we can't sleep because there's so much like actual light coming in. Oh, yay, Julia's here. So I want you to just realize, like, set aside any kind of weird thought you have about the moon or not moon. The reason why this is so instrumental in our lives is because it's something that we've always had. Since our ancestors were roaming the land, they looked up at the sky, they looked up at the stars, they looked up at the moon, and they cycled their lives off of this. So it's something ancient, it's something primal, it's something so, we're so connected to it that I think now we're so connected in this way, in this technological way, that we end up being disconnected from nature, disconnected from the earth, disconnected from the energies and the natural cycles that our bodies go through the seasons. So I want you to just realize that this isn't something weird. This isn't something woo woo. It is something very practical that you can pretty much base your life off of, and you can just use it as another tool. Okay. So that's what noticing the full moons and noticing the new moons, that's what this is for. It's for you to have another tool in your toolkit to look at the energies, to go within and reflect, to maybe realize why some weird things are coming up for you. And what's been happening for me during this full moon is all of the fears, all of the limiting beliefs, all of the judgments about myself have been coming up. This is typical for the full moon. And Lisa says, oh, Lisa, I didn't even welcome you, Lisa. Hi. Lisa says our internet is a bit wonky, so if I disappear, that's why. Okay, cool. I hope you're able to stay on now. So here's why this is so great to just know and understand. Again, it's not making an excuse for our behavior. It's not just allowing us to just like be like, oh, it's the full moon, so I'm going to be weird and act weird and angry or triggered or whatever. It's literally just a time to say, oh, this is interesting. These things keep coming up. And I believe they come up, like if we're going to get rid of something, right? It comes up for us to ask ourselves, does this serve me? Is this beneficial to me? Is this thought beneficial to me? Is this action beneficial to me? Is this relationship? Is this habit beneficial? Is this item, right? Is this item useful to me anymore? So you can say, does this serve me or is this useful? And so all of our things will come up to our awareness so we have the opportunity to choose. Is this item useful? Is this thought useful? Is this thing useful for me to carry on and move forward? So I say that to say, I'm the manifesting queen. I love manifesting. I love vision casting. I love painting the vision for the future. It feels so good to me. And it's because I was born on a new moon, and the new moon is all about new things, new energies. So I'm going to be honest here, the full moon and like the shadow work, right? And the shadow work is simply those things that we don't want to look at, those fears, limiting beliefs, thoughts, habituations that we continue to do over and over again that's holding us back. It's uncomfortable to look at sometimes. So I'm just going to say, I do have a good friend who is also a coach. She loves doing the full moon. She's all about purging. She's all about letting go. And that is her work in this world. For me, I know that this is necessary, but it doesn't feel fun for me. Okay. So I'm letting you also know this. We must, if we want to bring in new things into our life, if we want to birth something new, whether it's a baby, a business, a job, a career, a relationship, we must clear out space, let go of, and create room for the new thing that's coming in. Okay. And I will be the first to tell you this, a little bit about my story too, and then I'll get to the comments. I went on a retreat in 2018 when I was transitioning my business from health and health coaching / life coaching into full-on life coaching. And I invested in this retreat. It was a lot of money to me at the time. It was uncomfortable because I was coaching with 3 male coaches. It really challenged me outside of my comfort zone. You know, I love traveling, so the travel wasn't really an issue. I love going places by myself, so that wasn't really the issue. What was challenging for me was fully looking at my shadow, fully taking off the masks that I had been wearing for years, which was being perfect at everything, being good at everything, wanting to be seen as good enough, wanting to be seen as being smart, of being a hard worker, of all of those things that I had put on my resume, of all of those identity pieces that I had, my ego had identified with. I came to confront them when I went on this retreat in Bali. And just so you know, it's called Elevate. It's a retreat that they're still hosting when the world opens back up. I'm sure they'll be hosting it again. And it's run by Joel Brown, Ben Kelly, and Emil Steenfeld. So they were phenomenal coaches, and I got so much from it. But what I learned from that was day one, it's not about the strategy. I was going because I wanted a strategy for my business. I wanted to know how to market. I wanted to know how to do all the right things from the experts. And what we worked on for 4 days was intimacy, was vulnerability, was forgiveness, was self-acceptance. And I'll tell you this, for 4 days, I felt like throwing up. For 4 days, I showed up as my authentic, most vulnerable, raw self. I talked about how my relationship of 9 years had failed. I talked about being afraid and intimidated by my coaches. I talked about just wanting to be accepted by them. And what I got from that was the only person's love and acceptance that matters is my own. I'm going to repeat that again because this is for you right now. We are not going to wait another moment, another minute until next year to fully love and accept ourselves. That is all you need. And you have the choice right now in this moment to declare that you fully love and accept yourself. And you declare it whether or not it feels true. That is what this work is. And I just did a post today about my life not being perfect. I'm a coach. I coach people at high levels. I transform people's lives. I'm a partner in their transformation. But that doesn't mean that my life needs to be perfect. For you to do the work in your world, whether you're a coach, whether you're a mentor, whether you're a salesperson, whether you're a mom, whether you are an artist, a creator, you don't need to be perfect. So let's let that go right now. All we do here in this space, right, in these free trainings or in one of my paid sessions or working with me one-on-one, every day you show up in your potential. You practice it. That's it. All we're doing is practicing. So it takes the pressure off of trying to be perfect, of trying to act like you have it all together, and it allows you to just be human and accept all of the human elements for yourself. Okay. So the roundabout of my story of going to this retreat is I was expecting the strategy. I was expecting them to tell me how to do it. And really, I had everything that I needed within me, right? What the magic of coaching does is it provides a mirror and a reflection for you to reveal what you already have within you. And I promise you that's going to happen right now on this call today when you open yourself up to that. It happens even greater and greater the deeper we go into coaching and in my 6-month coaching one-on-one. But I'll tell you, these things that you show up for matter because I'm not like holding back when I do these free trainings. I'm not holding back some secret sauce. I'm giving you it all. I'm allowing you to have your transformation right here for free. All you do is meet me energetically here. Okay. That's all that you're called to do is to meet me here and you can allow your transformation to happen in this moment. Okay. So I'm saying that to say that retreat, I went for one thing, I came away with something else, but I went through that shadow work. I went through that discomfort. I went through wanting to throw up. I went through crying for 10 minutes. I went through asking for help. All the things that usually high achievers and perfectionists don't want to do, right? We don't want to say we need help. We don't want to ask for help. We don't want to surrender. We want to do it all ourselves. We want to be in control. So if that is you and you're identifying with any of these things, and you know in your soul, in your spirit, that these are holding you back, these may be some things that you want to just leave behind in 2020 and not take in with you to 2021. Okay? All right, let me check out the comments because you guys are popping over here. Let me grab a sip of water. I'm going to take care of myself here. Christine says, Here's a portion of my gratitude post today. I am grateful for the last few days of time to reflect. Reflection time is not just important, it is vital. It gives us the opportunity to acknowledge our challenges, difficulties, and our successes. It helps us see where we have grown and what directions we would like to take next. Yes. With the new year almost upon us, it is a great opportunity to think about who we value in our lives, where we are in our spiritual or life journey, and what we've achieved. Oh, that is good, Christine. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, yay, Lucy's here. Hi, Lucy. All right, Lisa says, she loves this one. Lisa says, practice your potential, progress, not perfection. Yes. Christine says, loved your perfection post today. Bam. Yeah. And Christine, I did that from a space of really my own personal journey of, I used to be a fitness model. Like I was published. I had 16% body fat. And, I've been in the gym throughout this year of 2020, but I've also really been building my business. And I just realized like, I'm not going to let my weight mean anything anymore. I'm not going to let that be a thing. Right. And I've really let that go in 2020 already. But every time I go to the gym and I remember my past triggers of being in the bodybuilding industry, of really, trying to measure up to an impossible standard, right? Literally a fitness model cover magazine standard, like I did for so many years. That was a reminder for me in my fitness, but also in my personal life, in my business, right? For all of us. And I say that to say is I don't ever want to show up in a perfect way. I want to show you what's possible. I'm going to share my journey with you. I'm going to share stories of where I've come from and where I am now. And I'm going to celebrate the victories that I've achieved. But I'm never going to paint a picture of perfection because that is going to perpetuate the ideal that perfectionism is the way, whenever really the way is failure. Failure is how I got to where I am right now. When I shut down my fitness business, when I was getting evicted, when I had to go back to work, when I had 6 jobs as a personal trainer, I was making $60 a week. That is what got me here today, right? The challenges. And what I had said in that post earlier today was, how do you expect to live a level 10 life as a level 10 person if you don't experience those level 10 opportunities? Some people may call them challenges. So we have experienced level 10 challenges in this year of 2020. So I'm choosing to believe, and you can borrow this belief, that level 10 Christine, level 10 Lucy, level 10 Lisa, level 10 Julia, all of us, level 10 Cami, is all on the way because of the challenges that we have experienced and overcome. And maybe we're still in the midst of them. And that is why we continue to show up and practice what our future vision is, what our future identity is. And I did all of these trainings in my Facebook group. So go back and revisit those trainings. Oh, Lisa says, I'm not seeing Christine's posts. I wonder why. I'm seeing them, so that's good. Okay, so let me do this. Today, I didn't prep anything for this call because I'm an intuitive life coach. So that means sometimes I do prep trainings, sometimes I don't. Typically on the moons, I do not prep because I want the energy to flow through how it's going to flow through. So what I'd like to start off with, I'm just curious, did you guys have any challenging emotions coming up this week? Did you have any triggers? Did you have any fears? Did you have any aggravations coming up this week? You don't need to be specific, but do let me know if anything came up for you, because I'm going to base some more training and teaching off of this. And while I do this, I'm going to share something that I've shared and what I've determined that I'm going to do moving forward. I'm letting go of is the actual life coach expectation. So I say that to say there are so many life coaches out there, so many, and there are so many amazing ones, right? But at the end of the day, it's hard to tell who's different, who's what, who's for me, right? And what I've just decided is I'm an intuitive life coach for people who are highly critical and judgmental of themselves. So maybe that means you identify as a perfectionist. Maybe that means you identify as somebody who is like, they want to be efficient. You're a type A, right? You can identify with any of those things. But what I've decided I will no longer do moving forward is hide any part of my gifts that are here to serve you. So stepping into 2021, what I'm leaving behind right now is this expectation to kind of fit into the life coaching mold, because I can't, I won't, I never could. But there were times where I was like, maybe I should wear a blazer, or maybe my hair shouldn't be pink, right? Anytime we get into the shoulds, that is a sign that we are not living fully in our potential. We're not living in our truth, right? Our heart truth, that inner knowing. We're not aligned with it. We're out of alignment. So me moving forward, here's what I just typed today. You know what? Let me see if I can find it, because it was so good as I typed it. And my coach was like, oh my gosh, that was so great. So let me find it as I watch you guys type in the chat here. All right. This was her asking me who I want to be known as. All right. And this is what I said. Okay. I'm going to give you my baby Yoda just as a symbol, as a sign. So this is my little baby Yoda crystal. And this came to me when I was actually sitting with a shaman, this knowing that I'm the baby Yoda of spirituality and practicality. And this is what I wrote down today. I am the baby Yoda of spirituality and intuition. I am the gateway drug for people stepping from only the practical and into the energy of quantum potential. What? That is everything. That is me. I'm going to screenshot that so I remember to put that in my bio. That is me moving forward. Okay. And the reason that I am saying this out loud to you guys is because for so long I was fearful, because I come from a Christian background, right? I come from the church. I come from a legalistic upbringing of things you can and can't do, things you can and can't say, right? And I have just fully trusted my inner knowing, my intuition, what I believe is God's voice through me, to step into my spirituality this year in a huge way, my intuitive powers, if you will. Okay. So that's why now, before I was kind of tiptoeing on the edge and I was getting comfortable on what was going to be comfortable for me. And I was doing that for a couple of years, but this is the year I fully stepped into using my intuitive abilities for good. Right. But me moving forward, I'm not hiding that anymore. I'm not trying to say it in a way that's going to make people feel good or feel some type of way. I'm just going to be me, because I love and respect and adore all of my coaches who are just them. And you know what? When I am that way, it gives you full 1000% permission to be you, the you that you be. Doesn't matter what background you come from, what religion, what race, what family of origin, none of it matters. What truly matters is you being the fullness of you, the I am expressed through you. So with that being said, the difference of me and other, maybe just other very practical life coaches out there, is that I have this additional layer of intuition that I've developed over a period of 7 years. And now I'm even working with more mentors who have gone to intuitive schools, who are my teachers. I just finished up a course this month, I guess it finished up in the middle of the month. And then I'm starting another course of training with them in January for another 3 months. So this is my declaration to you guys, that you're just going to see more intuitive stuff, more magical stuff. And when that happens, here's what happens. You've seen this happen. You've seen it happen on trainings. I'm sure if you've been on any trainings with me, I'll say things that will hit you just at a moment and a spot in your heart that relates to something exactly in your life at that exact moment. And that is because I'm allowing my intuition to flow. I allow things to come through me, although sometimes I don't know what the heck I'm saying. Okay. That is me practicing full trust in God's source energy flowing through me, that I'm able to reach you, whether we're in a coaching relationship, whether you're just watching my video on YouTube, you're watching the replay 2 years from now. I trust and believe and know that a transmutation, which is a transformation of your energy, of my message, is going to transmute something in your life and transform it into something that is useful, into a perspective that you're able to see in a different way. That is what I know myself to be now. And it was interesting because it was like I had been hiding from my power, and I had been wanting to appear a different way or wanting to look like other life coaches out there. And that's just not the truth. It's just not the truth of the matter. I stand out. I always have, I always will. So I'm hoping that this is giving you the inspiration to do the same in your life moving forward into 2021, of being who you be, and allow yourself to be weird if that is weird, okay? Because listen, we all got some weird in us. And I love weird people, and weird people come into my energy, and we be weird together. So I'm not going to hide my weirdness, because it wouldn't be good for any of us, right? You thought you were coming to a normal dinner party, you would be sadly mistaken and shocked, and you would be appalled. So at least you guys now know. All right. Okay, let's see what's coming up in the comments. Lucy says, get in the group, Lisa. Okay, that's probably why, because we're all in the group. All right. Lucy says, yes, triggers this week. And remember too, like Christmas just came. Christmas looked very different for a lot of us. Like there maybe hasn't been travel. We did things differently. I know for me, my husband just came home. So that was like a whole whirlwind of just schedule changes and adaptations. So, there was a lot of changes that happened personally. And I had a lot of old fears come up, and I was like, ooh, interesting. I haven't thought that thought in a while. And so just know the thoughts come up so we can release them. Christine says, amen, sister. Yes. Okay. Juliet says, I had some challenging emotions coming up that led to, what am I actually doing in my life, and what's the purpose? Ooh, that is really good. Let me intuitively answer this before I read a little bit more. This is literally the question of life. This is the question of life. And I don't know if you guys have seen it yet on Disney Plus. There is a new kids movie. It's called Soul, Soul. I would highly recommend that you watch it, because it's like spot on with the soul, our soul's purpose, our soul's journey. Like we're looking for our purpose, right? And I'm not going to ruin the whole thing for you in terms of the movie, but essentially, what I believe our purpose is to be the full expression of the I am, the full expression of God living through us. For everyone, that's going to be different. For some people, that might be, I love animals, I want to help them, I want to be a veterinarian. For some people, that might be, I love animals, I want to help them, so I'm just going to have them as pets and take good care of them. For some people, that might be, I'm a mother, that's what I'm here to do. Or I'm a coach or a teacher or a leader. It's not always this linear path of, this is my job and this is my purpose. We go through each one of these transits in order to learn something, in order to serve our purpose. So although flipping hamburgers at McDonald's right now may not seem relevant to your life's purpose, there is absolutely something that you've gained, that you've gleaned in that moment, that is a part of your life's purpose. Every relationship that worked or didn't work, every job that you got fired from or didn't, that you loved or hated, every class that you took in college, every random friend that you had for like a year and then you didn't talk anymore, all of that adds up to our life's purpose. When you trust and believe that when you're in alignment, you take intuitive, inspired, aligned action, that's when you're truly living in your purpose. It's not when you have the big mansion with the house on the hill. It's not when you're flying first class. It's not when you publish your first book or you're speaking on stage. Each of us is already doing it when we are connected and aligned with the energy of I am. Let me know if you received that. Put an I am in the chat if you received that. I'm going to read the rest of Julia's. Julia said, then I had a good sleep and didn't get the answer, but realized I might as well enjoy it no matter what's happening. This is so interesting too, because we can ask for answers during our dream time. What I find is I don't get literal answers. I don't get like, oh, here, and it's like Jesus handing me a scroll or something. It's always like, oh, a kitten. Like I had a really good dream this week of I was carrying around a kitten in the mall, but I was carrying it around like a baby and I was just like petting it and it was having so much fun with me. So like that energy of me carrying around a kitten in the mall was the answer, right? Of just like, oh my gosh, that's the meaning of life. Like petting a kitten can actually be the meaning of life for me in that moment. A lot of times we're looking and we're seeking for something that's already available within us when we just allow and we be. Yeah, so good. Christine says, Baby Yoda, goosebumps. Yes. Okay, I know she's receiving this. Julia says, I actually believe I'm here to show people that life is beautiful, how to love it because there is so much to love. Yes, Julia. Yes. Copy and paste that, put it up on your vision board, put it on your phone, remind yourself of that every day because on those days when things get hard, it's not going to seem that simple, right? It's going to be like, what? No, it's harder than that. It really is that simple. Like we are designed to be connected. We are designed to be happy. Our ego and our thoughts and the collective programming is what gets in our way. That is why we are here to release these limiting beliefs, to release these thoughts that we've been programmed with, and truly just step into being. Ooh, okay. Christine says, I am planning on reigniting my dreams and life as I step into 2021. That word is amazing, Christine. And I have a special surprise for you as we move in to the second part of this training. Lucy says, all of our experiences help shape our purpose. Love that. I don't know if I said that or if you just summarized that, but that is a great quote and I love it. Keep that. Lucy says, I am. Okay. Lisa says, be still and no. Julie says, I am. Okay. So you guys are getting with the I am. So I'm going to shift into some intuitive readings for the cards just to see what we have coming up. I really like this because I love animals. If you guys didn't know, the veterinarian reference was actually what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a veterinarian since I was 3 because I thought that was the only path. And I went down that path. I was pre-med. I went to like a really expensive school, still paying off student loans, and started working at a veterinary hospital after college. Found out I don't want to actually do this because all the animals hate me. I'm going to spend lots of money and I'm not really going to like it. Like I was a vet tech and I was like, well, the vet tech and the veterinarian do kind of the same things. Like it wasn't as glamorous. I wanted to just be with the animals. Okay. So with this being said, what I've now realized is I want to communicate with animals. So I'm using that and I'm developing that skill through working with this animal communicator who I told you about. And so now I am using this as part of my purpose. I've always wanted to help animals. And my vision is to be able to save 200 dogs a year at minimum from being euthanized because they're freaking amazing, and just being able to give money to shelters and rescues. So through me doing work through humans, through helping humans transform their lives, we are able to save animals in that way. So I want you to see that it's not always linear. It's not always, I like animals, I'm going to be a veterinarian. It's like, I like animals, so I'm going to help people so that the money I make can help animals, right? So expand your mind, open up to the infinite realm of possibilities. That is where we're going in 2021. Okay, so this spirit animal deck, this is by Colette Baron Reed. It is called Spirit Animal Oracle. It's just really, really pretty. There's so many cards in here. There's 68 of them, so it's a really fat deck. And if you've never used Oracle cards before, let me just explain this to you, because I think it's, this was me a couple years ago when I met my first coach, who was a friend of mine. She's so amazing. Still love her to this day. She's the one who taught me about meditation. She's the one who taught me about like crystals and getting into this energy stuff and Kundalini. And I was so skeptical and I was so like questioning. But here's what I knew about her. I trusted enough to know I know people's energy. And when I met her, she stood up in a room full of 35 women. We were at a business retreat together. And I literally saw yellow light around her. And I'm not like a seer of light, right? Like I'm not one of those people who actually sees light, but with her, I saw it. And I was like, oh, I need to know her. And then we started talking and I was like, yes, I love you. You're great. You're an angel. So by her energy being so pure and her being so filled with light, it gave me permission in a safe way to start to explore these things I had wanted to explore. So the reason I too now am doing card readings live is because I know that some of you feel the same way, where you're like, I don't know what this is. Please help me understand. This is a tool to help you connect to your intuition. Okay. Here's what happens. We're so distracted. We're connected to our phones. We're connected to the computers. There's advertisements everywhere. We're not often walking outside anymore with our feet on the ground, looking up at the sun, the moon, the stars, looking at the birds, talking to the animals. So we're disconnected from our intuition. This is a tool that you can use. You set the intention. When you first receive the deck, you can cleanse it, you can clear it, you can pray over it. You can hold it at your heart space and just ask for guidance, of the highest good for all. Then you just shuffle the deck and you just ask. You can ask a specific question, or you can just set an intention of, what do I need to know today? Okay. You can do journaling after it. You can do prayer after it. You can do it however you want. But I just want to help you understand how these are used, why these are used. In my coaching with some of my clients, if they like readings, I'll do a readings on our sessions. If not, I won't bring it up. I have very practical clients where I may pull some cards just to understand the energy, but we don't even bring them up during our sessions. So I just want to let you know that. I don't impose it on people, but I know when people are open to it and I know when it adds value to them. So for some of you, I know some of you on here have pulled cards and you're like, oh my gosh, it happened this week. Yes. So that is why I pull cards, and it's fun for me and it's so easy. It's so easy. Like I spent my whole life making everything so hard, and like it just gets to be easy. Okay. Permission granted. It gets to be easy. So this one popped out right now. I'm just going to say that this is the first one. I'm going to pull 3 cards. You can say 1, 2, or 3, or you can say that you want all the cards, right? So this is a practice for you to use your own intuition, and you can say card number 1 is definitely for me, card number 2, 3, or any combination of them. This is truly just the energy of the full moon. What is it that we need to know collectively? And people watching the replays, what do they need to know, right? What does the person who watches this, how is this going to serve everyone? So I'm going to pull this card because it was there right away. This is beautiful. I'm like crying on this one a little bit. It is Dear Spirit. And it's beautiful. It's card number 18 if you're into numerology. I don't know numerology that much, but it's up there. Dear Spirit, bring a gentle touch. And here's what's coming up for me on this one. Did you notice when I said Dear Spirit, it was almost like I was addressing myself or I was addressing you, like dear, like sweetheart, dear, like Dear Spirit, like be gentle with yourself. This is not the time to beat up on yourself, to look back at 2020 and to say what you didn't do, to say how you didn't lose the weight, to say how you didn't make the money. Bring a gentle touch. Recognize that you went through a challenging year. Accept that things maybe looked way different than what you thought. And also recognize what you did achieve, what you did accomplish, whether that was just like, oh my gosh, I put on lipstick, or I got out of the house and went on walks. I want you to really recognize the little things. Those of you who've worked with me know 1% shifts. Everybody talks about massive action. Tony Robbins talks about massive action. I like Tony. I've gone to his events. I've worked with some of his coaches. But I will tell you this, Darren Hardy has a book called The Compound Effect. I reference it all the time. It is about compounded interest. 1% shifts over time creates a drastically different result. If you can be 1% kinder to yourself, if you can refer to yourself as a dear, as a sweetheart, instead of an idiot, a failure, a fatty, a person who overeats, who's somebody who's compulsive, who doesn't control themselves around food, who stays up too late. Can you just say, hey, dear spirit, I love you. And the thing we're doing, is it useful? No, it's not useful. Okay, let's do this other thing. Okay? You will save so much energy when you stop beating yourself up and you start shifting into the deer spirit, bringing a gentle touch to yourself and to others. Because I'll tell you from experience, I was so self-critical. And still, I do have a habit. It will come up. I will be critical of my achievements or my non-achievements, right? Or I'll kind of lower a notch of my achievements, and then I will be critical of others. So by me being gentle with myself, it allows me to be gentle with others. So we're going to allow this card number 1 to be the deer spirit. And if I have anybody on here who is into numerology, tell me what the 18 means. I do have an excellent astrologer I'd like to refer to you. His name is, on YouTube, his name is Namaste Today, and his name is Chris Witecki. He does talk about the step astrology. He does talk about the numerology. I'm not knowledgeable of it, so I won't pretend to be, but I do like adding another layer if you want to pull out some numerology up there too. Okay. Christine says, oh my God, you're going to be the horse whisperer. Oh, Christine, thank you. That means so much to me because you know I want a horse. And you know, Julia posted in our group that she's just out there riding horses now. And I do want to have a horse. I had one when I was a kid, when I was like 5 years old, because my dad, he's like in the mountains of Idaho, and he was a guide. Like he was a guide that would take people backpacking out in the mountains. And I had a horse when I was like 5. And then I don't know what happened really, where it went or if we sold it, but yeah, I will have one again. Okay. Lisa says, I saw the infinity sign twice today. Now you've mentioned infinity, so 3 times, right? Oh my gosh. Yes. Lisa says, I totally need to get a deck. Yes, Lisa. And I think the one that you would love is back here. It's the Everyday Miracles one. This is a really good one. It's based on A Course in Miracles, if you can see it. I'm going to write a blog post on this too, on some of the decks that I recommend and why. Everyday Miracles, and it's by Robert and Holly Holden. Okay, so let us go to card number 2. Let me read the comments. Oh yes, Christine went and looked up numerology number 18 resonates with humanitarianism, independence, and building something of lasting benefits. The numerology essence of number 18 has to do with, she posted it twice. Awesome. So now we know. Isn't that interesting, right? Humanitarianism, loving ourselves, being gentle with ourselves and gentle with others. Yes. All right. So now we're going to go on to card number 2. If you feel like card number 2 resonates with you, we're just going to energetically take a deep breath. Just kind of release, because we want this card to stand alone and also tie in to everything we've been talking about, because everything touches everything. So what else? What else must we release right now on this full moon today in order to manifest our dreams? This feels like the one. Oh my gosh, you guys. Armadillo spirit again. How many of you who've been with me for the past, I've done 3 or 4 card sessions and I've pulled this exact card. This will be the 3rd, 4th, or 5th time that I've pulled this. I'm telling you, this is the deck. There's nothing special other than I keep pulling this card. This card is about setting healthy boundaries. This is so true. And I think this is so relevant for now, because our lives have changed so much in terms of our day-to-day schedules. A lot of us are working from home. A lot of us are spending a lot of time with family in the home. Those require conversations. That requires saying, this is what I'm doing. This is what you're doing. Here's where I'm doing it. Here's how I'm doing it. Let's come together later. I don't think there has ever been a greater need for now for boundaries, right? Even with the 6-foot thing. You discuss what your boundaries are, where you're comfortable going in public, how you're comfortable going in public, and you have those conversations with your family, with your friends, who is allowed to visit, in what capacity. You let them know you still love them, but here's my boundaries. This is the theme. And this is card number 3. If you guys want to look up the numerology for this one, what else is coming up? Is there anything else? Because this has been the theme of the past 2 to 3 months. So here's what I see. Boundaries is a way to love yourself. Asking for what you need, taking the moment for self-care, getting in the bathtub, doing those kind of things. But boundaries are healthy for others too. When you say, this is a really good example that I just had a conversation with one of my clients. Boundaries help you be connected. So for example, a lot of times when we're going through personal development, growth, up-leveling, the things we want to talk about change, the things we want to do change, what's important to us changes, and the people who are closest to us in our lives can feel like they're getting left behind. This happened a lot when I was coaching fitness and nutrition, right? If you're always going out and eating bread and drinking wine, and now you've decided to dedicate your life to a healthy lifestyle, your friends, family, loved ones are going to feel left out if that is the only way that you bonded over the wine, over the bread, right? But here is a way for you to keep that connection and set a boundary. You can say, I love going out with you and drinking wine. I love going out with you, eating bread, whatever. I would love to get together and cook together. I would love to, maybe we make some kind of fruit salad, or we make our own apple juice or something that's healthy, or we juice using grapes. Because at the end of the day, they still want to be connected with you. But when you're redefining your values and who you are, you can set a boundary on how that connection is going to happen. So that's one example from the health and fitness space. Another example from one of my clients, and this is kind of common actually. When we're changing, the people who've known us the longest, moms, dads, aunts, uncles, family, cousins, right? People from our hometown, they will participate in patterns with us. So let's say we go back for Christmas, or let's say they call us on the phone. They are going to present an opportunity for us to jump back into a pattern that we've been attempting to leave behind, or that we maybe think that we've left behind. But as soon as we get into conversation, we're back in that pattern. So that may be your mother calls and she has a scarcity mindset. So she's always talking about money, and she's always kind of putting the fear of not having enough money in you. And you're just like, I don't want to talk to you because you're always talking about money and it's making me feel scarce. And I don't want to, I'm working on my money mindset and you're coming in, right? Instead of being combative, or instead of avoiding that connection, because she's attempting to make connection, you set a healthy boundary around, Mom, every time we get into this money, I just don't feel connected to you. So I would just like to keep this off the table. And I love you so much. So what I'd love to do is just chat about, how's Bridge Club going, or how's, Grandma Jean going, or whatever. Talk about what you're connected on. So one of my clients, they love cooking together. So just talk about recipes and cooking, because that's going to create connection. You're not disconnecting them. You're not being like, I don't want to talk to you because you always talk about money. You're not calling them. You're just saying, you know what? And this is the coaching I gave her, except that's who they are, right? They're not being coached. They're not in a life coaching situation, and they may never change, except that that's who they are. And you can still have a relationship with them, right? Step 1. Step 2 is breathe. Literally breathe through the trigger. And then step 3 is redirect. Do not enter into the pattern. Do not jump into the pool with them and start drowning and swimming and splashing around. You can stay on the outside of the pool and be like, oh, the water, okay, good. But I'd rather you talk about this, and just redirect the conversation to something that you can connect upon. Okay, cool. And Christine has got the numerology in here. The number 3 is a primary source of originality and individuation. Ooh, this is like the Holy Trinity too, isn't it? The number 3 is all about abundance and happy communications. For those with the number 3 prominent in their numerology charts, which we're not going to go into because we don't know that. Okay, creative endeavors. Okay, so creation, right? Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and Holy Trinity. Abundance and happy communications. So don't let boundaries mean something bad. That's kind of what we're saying. Maybe type in the chat if you can think of a boundary in a communication and a conversation that you can lovingly, right, with a gentle, dear spirit that you can lovingly have. And let's commit to that together. And we're going to go into card number 3 to wrap this up in a beautiful bow for us. Okay, number 3, setting healthy boundaries. Yes. Yeah. And I like to call them loving boundaries, right? Loving, because they're coming from a space of love. Because guess what happens when you don't set boundaries? You get resentful. Disconnection happens. So you either have the conversation that may feel uncomfortable in the beginning to create more closeness, or you avoid, you defend, you let resentment build up, and you create disconnection. So it's the most loving thing you can do is have the conversation. I'm speaking to myself too. All right, this one popped up to us. This is going to be our final card. Oh my gosh, I've never pulled this one. Skunk Spirit. Okay, it's so cute. Skunk Spirit says, know your worth. Okay. And this is number 54. And this little skunk, he's on a daisy. I think it's a daisy. It's yellow. And he is like frilly and cute and majestic and like adorable. And how interesting that the skunk presents us as know your worth, right? The skunk is typically the one where people are afraid of, they're judgmental towards, they're like, oh no, you stink. But what a cute little representation of something that people, I think, misunderstand, right? So what do we want to say about knowing your worth? When you truly know how valuable you are, when you're connected to the I am, right, the creator, you know you've been created, you can co-create your reality from your own sense of worthiness that is independent of all the mistakes you've made, of anything that happened in 2020, of any failed relationships, of getting fired, of getting yelled at, any of that. When you know your worth, you can be, do, and have anything. Anything. There's really nothing stopping us from knowing our own worthiness aside from the programming that we've been indoctrinated with our entire lives. Something somebody said to us when we were a kid, a teacher said, right? But here's what we do. Here's what we tend to do. We tend to make those things truth when those things are not true. They are the separation from truth. They are separating us from our worth. So your work now tonight, the final coaching and the activity that I'm going to invite you to do is to write down all those things you've believed about yourself, you've had other people say about you, and you're going to rip off little pieces of paper, okay? And I might do one. I might do one right now. I'm going to give you an example. I am just going to say disclaimer. So you rip off a little sheet of paper, and I would do a bunch of these little sheets of paper, and you will write something like, I always overeat, or I'm not good at my job, or I'm not making any money in my business, or whatever these old thoughts and patterns have been coming up. You're going to write them on your little slip of paper. And then I invite you to safely, preferably outside, grab a lighter, light them on fire, release them into the fire, right? I will tell you, if you're doing this at home, do it over a sink, do it over a bucket of water, right? I'm going to take zero liability for this. So please don't try this at home. That's something you can do, or you can crumble them up, throw them away, or you can crumble them up, do whatever. This is what I want you guys to do on your own after this call is completely over, okay? Knowing your worth and letting go of everything that's coming up for you this year. All right. Christine looked up the angel number 54. It's ministering angels are advising you to make a list of your beliefs and ambitions and arrange them based on importance of these ideas and objectives. Okay, they want to enable you to make basic alterations. Okay, good. And we're going to get to that one second. And the essence of 54 is continually focused on making life better for people. It isn't always effective. It also has an inner urge to express its sense of personal freedom. 54 has little, if any, judgment of lifestyle, society expectations, religious beliefs, political practices. In fact, it reveals firsthand experience of a wide variety of cultures. This is what's so beautiful about 54 in this. We are all worthy, no matter where we came from. And then this is the last piece of homework that I'll give you as well, or an invitation, right? This is an invitation. You can do whatever you want with this. But after you do all of your releasing, you write everything down that you want to release for this full moon. You write one, because here's what happens. When we release, we feel empty. We feel exposed. We're like, okay, now what? What do I believe now? Choose one overarching theme, overarching statement, overarching belief that you are going to believe walking into 2021. It can be any of these, right? It can be, I know my worth, right? It can be something simple like that. It could be, I know things are working out for me. I know God is looking out for me. I know that I live in abundance, right? Whatever it is, have a general statement that's going to replace all those negatives, all of those limiting beliefs, and revisit that. I shared one of mine with you. Everything that I desire desires me. My manifestations come easy to me, right? These are some declarations that we can use each and every day, but try on one generally as a blessing over your year walking into 2021. What I always say is you can't build on top of crap. So we have to get rid of and release all of the limiting beliefs first and then build a new foundation. Oh, Lisa, genius and safe. Lisa says she's putting hers through the shredder. So you can write them all on one sheet of paper, say a prayer, say a blessing, put it through the shredder. I am done with this. Yes? Okay. So I am going to, there's a few minutes left. If you got something from this, please share this. I know all of you who are commenting. I love all of you. So thank you for being on here live. For those of you watching the replay, let me know that you watched the replay. Let me know what resonated with you. Play along with me, right? As if you're watching it live. And also, if this is something you want more of moving forward, reach out to me directly. We can hop on a consultation call. All we do on that is for you to get crystal clear on what it is you desire in the coming year. You can get clear on what's holding you back. And then at the end of the call, we can determine if it's a good fit to work together. And even if it's not, you're going to come away with the most value and the most clarity that you've ever received in 1 hour. Okay, so reach out to me, send me a message for that. And please do share, tag your friends, let people know that this is going on inside of my free group called Powerful Potential. And I'm so excited to do this stuff for you guys because this is the essence of what has changed my life and gotten me to the point that I'm at, which again, not perfection, but wow, my life has changed drastically in the past 7 years. And I want that for you. So my commitment is to be a living example of leaving the struggle behind, of stepping into my potential so that you can fully step into and embrace your potential each and every day. I believe in you. I know each and every one of you can do it, whether you're here with me live right now or whether you're watching the replay. All you need to do is take the first step, make contact with me, and also, if any of this free stuff works for you, let me know. I love hearing those ahas, those breakthroughs. And I know most of you have already shared. If you've worked with me, you've shared with me, but keep me updated. I love knowing what is going on with you. You guys, happy new year. I will see most of you tomorrow in my final free training inside the Facebook group. And into the new year, I will be doing some more free trainings and a vision board workshop. Lucy says, I believe in you too. I love it. All right, everybody, have a beautiful night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.